Morning, all. All right, so we have some news to talk about today, don't we? The National Hockey League has been very, very quiet. I'm starting to wonder if maybe everybody was just watching the Olympics because as soon as the Olympics wind up, all of a sudden I had a news video yesterday, and we're back today. And something has happened that we as hockey fans have wanted to see more of, and maybe we're going to see more of the offer sheet. So now, yes, these two are new magnets. These are ones I've used before. These are ones I made at home. These are ones I got at Disneyland that I looked at and said, yeah, those are ones I can use on a panic index at some point. For some reason, I've put them on this board now. So if you're an Oilers fan, you're probably not as happy right now as a Blues fan might be. If you're a Blues fan, you might be wondering, is it worth it? My answer would be, you know what? You roll the dice, you pick up a forward, you pick up a defenseman. It could absolutely be worth it. So the Blues have signed Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway to offer sheets. Of course, restricted free agents. There's been discussions of restricted free agents on how much they want and how much the team's offering all summer. I've stayed out of it for the most part because honestly, it just kind of comes across as blah blah blah. Just I don't really pay much attention. But the Oilers are currently over the cap. Now, it is true that yesterday I reported that there's word that Evander Kane may very well end up starting the season on LTIR, which helps. But it also means that if they keep these players, they'd have to keep Evander Kane on LTIR indefinitely, or they're going to have to make a trade unless they let these players go. The Oilers have 7 days to match the offer or the contracts that were signed here by St. Louis. Now, sometimes the team will wait those full 7 days and then match because they're like, all right, we're taking them off the market for 7 days. That's not the case here. The market closed a while ago for the most part. Most of the big names are off the board. St. Louis obviously isn't going to be in on any of the other remaining players while these are out there, but they don't need to be. So this does not hurt the Blues at all making this deal. And if the Oilers wait the full 7 days to match, it doesn't really hurt the Blues at all, but it may very well hurt the Oilers to not match. So the Broberg offer is a 2-year contract. The cap hit $4,580,917. And you stick to the absolute exact because you don't want to end up owing more. So what happens is if the Oilers don't match the deal, they get back a second-round draft pick for Philip Broberg. I don't know if that's a good compensation for Broberg, who in the playoffs looked like he's ready to play a top 6 role. And if the Oilers let him walk, it does weaken that blue line, and it does not fix their cap problem. Dylan Holloway signs a 2-year deal worth $2,290,437 per season. And again, those dollar numbers are exact to keep the teams at that threshold, and it means that a third-round pick is the compensation for Holloway if the Oilers don't match. And I talked about Holloway in the Oilers video I did a few weeks ago. I liked Holloway's game in the playoffs. I think he's ready to play a bigger role with the Oilers, but maybe he's ready to play a bigger role in a different location. Maybe that'll be with St. Louis. So to make this work, and I'm kind of glad St. Louis did this because it does illustrate something that I don't think we as fans talk a lot about. Not every team has their own draft picks to make these offers. So if the St. Louis Blues offered Broberg and Holloway, but they didn't have their own second-round pick, they didn't have their own third-round pick, the NHL wouldn't allow it. That's against the rules. You have to be offering up your own second or third-round pick. And basically that would mean that, like, San Jose, as a for instance, couldn't have made this offer and then said, oh, well, we'll offer up Florida's second-round draft pick, which is essentially potentially almost a third-round pick, right? So it basically means that you have to have your own picks. And the Blues made a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins earlier today to make sure they had their own second-round pick. So they traded that to Pittsburgh. They get it back. And this is what happens. Broberg and Holloway, they have 7 days. We'll see whether or not they end up being members of the Blues. The reason that I mentioned the Oilers waiting 7 days doesn't help anybody in this situation is that the reality is that if the Oilers match right now or they match in 7 days, there's no difference. So they might as well match now if they're going to. The other option would be that over the next 7 days, they make a move or two to try to save themselves some money. But this is what happens when your team's above the cap. This is what happens when you're trying to keep your costs down. and there's another team that likes your young players and sees that they're still available. So the question I have for people watching this video is simple. If you were the Edmonton Oilers' brand spanking new GM, Stan Bowman, are you going to say, all right, I will sign them to these contracts and I will try to make trades to get under the cap? Or do you let them go and take the draft picks as compensation? Do you match one? Do you match the other? Do you match neither or both? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It certainly seems like the off season's kind of picked up a little bit. I'm very grateful. Also, I did see, Yvonne showed me how many new members we've got on the Discord, and that's great to see. So there you go. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And how angry are Oiler fans going to be about this, or are you fine with it? Like, are you an Oilers fan that looks at Holloway and Broberg and says, they're probably overrated anyways, I'll take the draft picks? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will talk to you again soon.